course, a tribute to a legend, someone we absolutely loved, is coming up. But if you're with us yesterday, we talked about this Golf Digest Challenge that's coming up, and we are both fascinated by it. Essentially, all of the tour pros, all the stars of the PGA Tour and other tours around the world are suggesting that even really good golfers, single-digit handicappers, would not be able to break 100 if they played the course the U.S. Open is being played on, in this case Torrey Pines South, under the basic conditions that the U.S. Open is played under. So they Golf Digest put together a challenge, and it will involve 3 celebrities who are excellent golfers. Matt Lauer, Justin Timberlake, Tony Romo, and then they had a contest. People wrote essays, and they picked a winner from that. And the winner is an 8 handicapper from Lincoln, Nebraska, who will get this chance now to play the course the week before the U.S. Open under those conditions with these 3 very famous people alongside of him, with a gallery, with television cameras,
announcers,
with Johnny Miller doing the announcing,
ripping their swings
to see if he can break 100 under those circumstances. It's a lot of pressure, and we're very pleased to welcome him to our program here to Mike and Mike in the Morning. This is John Atkinson from Lincoln, Nebraska. How are you, John?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Well, we are well, and we are both fascinated by this, and we know that your story is a unique and a special one, and we were particularly inspired to try and get you on here so you could tell that story. So why don't you explain to everyone what was in your essay and how it was you were chosen for this?
Well, I'd love to. But first things first, I'm a huge fan of your show, and I have to say that without a doubt, ketchup definitely goes on hot dogs.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Sorry, John. You just,
there you go, John. That's the way to come on, know the program, and be right.
Let me just say this. I absolutely hope that Lauer smokes you. Okay. That said, and thank you for the kind words. Go ahead, John.
But, you know, it was last March. You know, I went into a doctor's office, you know, with just kind of a strange pain in my shoulder. And he said, take some Advil, you'll be fine. We went back, and he just said everything would be fine, don't worry about it. Had him order a CT scan, and, you know, who would have thought anything? You know, I've never smoked. I'm healthy. You know, I tried to do the right things, and came back cancer. And it just devastated our world. You know, everything that you were doing that day and really for the rest of your life changes, and you go down a different road.
And where are you down that road right now?
You know, we're still battling. Lung cancer is a very difficult cancer to treat. It's incurable, but it is treatable. So I'm in a clinical study at Methodist Hospital here in Omaha, Nebraska, and we're looking at 2 drugs, Avastin and Tarceva, working together to keep the cancer at bay. And right now it's been 14 months. Yesterday would have been my 14-month anniversary. I went in for treatment yesterday, and, you know, so far so good. Everything is stable.
That's obviously wonderful news.
And we
wish you nothing but the best. John Atkinson with us on Mike and Mike in the Morning. And so give us an idea of your thoughts now and as you prepare to do this. First of all, how much golf do you get a chance to play?
You know, I've played a lot these last 6 weeks, getting ready for it. I haven't played the normal type of golf I'm used to playing and going out with some buddies and just teeing away. I've really tried to do things that I could help myself prepare for Torrey Pines. One of the neat stories that has come with this, a local pro found my story, gave me a call, and he's been working with me to help me get ready. His name is Bob Scott, and he used to be a senior instructor at the Pels Institute, and just happens to live 2 blocks away from me. So he has donated so much of his time to help me prepare for the round out at Torrey Pines.
Do you get a practice round at all, or are you just stepping on the course, the 4 of you, for the first time and playing it?
No, they give us a practice round on that Thursday, so we get to go out there and do a practice round, so at least I can experience the rough and the greens. There's some things you just can't prepare for.
Mike and John Atkinson, so I'm making sure I've got the dates right here. It's next Thursday you'll play the practice round, and then a week from today is when you will play the round itself. I think it's going to be taped, and it's going to air on NBC on that Sunday, June 15th. On the following Sunday, June 15th, right before their final round coverage of the U.S. Open. So you've got about a week to lead up to this. How do you feel? How are the nerves at this point?
I was with my pro yesterday, and we were out on the range, and we looked at each other and we said, we're ready. We've done everything that we can do here in Omaha to prepare, and we're ready to roll the dice and see what happens.
If you play your game and it's going well, what do you think you'll shoot?
Well, in my mind, I'm going. The popular thing to say is, hey, I just want to break 100. But I think if you say, I just want to break 100, you're going to shoot pretty close to 100. I feel like I can bogey every hole out there, so I'm going to say my target score is an 89.
Mike, John Atkinson wants to shoot 89. And again, we read all about this in Golf Digest this week. I saw the story early in the week. I showed it to Golick. We both loved it.
Great idea.
And Golf Digest has obviously was a huge part of this. This was their deal, and NBC and everybody else. And we're very happy to help bring some attention to it, as I know you're hoping to bring a lot of attention to lung cancer and all of that with what we discussed earlier here. So we're very pleased to be able to do that. Now, as far as the way you're going to play the course,
yes.
Give us a sense of your plan of attack. You say you think you can bogey every hole. Does that mean drivers on most of the par fours and the par fives?
It means I'm going to use my hybrid a lot, and I'm going to check my ego in at the door.
Good.
Oh,
good.
You are.
I'm glad to hear you say that, John.
That's where the celebrities are going to run into problems. The Romos, the Lauers, and the Timberlakes.
Romo's going to wind up in that rough. What have people told you about the rough? Because when you watch the U.S. Open, that rough, I think, is really clearly going to be the biggest challenge unless there's a lot of wind. What have they told you to expect about the rough?
Well, I got an email from a pro, and I get so many emails from people giving me tips, and the one that I thought really kind of stuck out the most is like, why don't you go to a field, drop some balls, and hit out of them? And I live in Nebraska, and my backyard happens to be a cornfield. So I dropped some balls down, just some sick, nasty stuff, and tried to hit out of those.
How'd that go?
The ball doesn't go very far.
So what you're saying is you're going to play it safe if you can, hit hybrids and things like that off tees, try and keep yourself in the fairway. You get yourself up there with those, and you manage to not too many three putts, and all of a sudden 89 becomes a very reasonable number. Yeah,
there are holes out there that teeing off with a hybrid you can still par the hole. There are holes out there that you tee off with a hybrid you can't. I think there's one hole, number 13, where you have to use a driver because you have a forced carry of about 240 yards.
Okay, so now how about the part of it? Okay, hybrid, you got your club, you have your game plan, X's and O's ready to go. Now you're on the tee box. There's a camera there. There's announcers. You're standing there with some pretty high-profile people, with Romo and Timberlake and Matt Lauer. How about the pressure side of it? I know you probably won't be able to know until you're in it, but have you thought about that and dealing with the fact that there'll be people and cameras and celebrities there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've never played more in front of maybe another foursome on the first hole. I'm a normal guy. Plays with his three other buddies, hoping to win a couple bucks from them at the end of the round. So my friend of mine, Terry Beitler, and my brother kind of came up with that idea of putting a gallery and kind of simulating everything. So they gathered about 50 friends. They got some of the local media to come out and strapping wireless microphones on me and interviewing me as I'm walking down the fairway and just putting that kind of pressure on me. And I learned a ton. I learned it's really hard to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then we'll see. Obviously, it'll be multiplied. We wish you nothing but the best of luck with this. And again, I know that part of your hope here is that you can bring some awareness and some attention. And if you're just joining us, John mentioned that a year ago, March, he was diagnosed with lung cancer. Is there anything that folks can do to help? Websites, anything like that you're working with, or you want to get out there?
I appreciate you asking. And yes, a friend of mine who's actually the best golfer I know wanted to help. So he went to the Lung Cancer Alliance, which is by far the best organization out there for lung cancer awareness, and they started a fundraiser. So if you want to follow along with the show on NBC and you want to kind of guess on what you think my score might be or make a donation, feel free to go to lungcanceralliance.org and join in. And I figure if we can watch, I can play some good golf, you guys can watch some good golf, we can raise awareness and raise some money for the second leading cause of death in the United States, which is lung cancer, then it's all good.
All right. Well, listen, John, we wish you nothing but the best. We'll be rooting for you. It's a very interesting story at the very least, and obviously we wish you the very best with that situation, even more so than whatever happens next week in San Diego. Best of luck, John, and thanks for the time this morning.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
John Atkinson from Nebraska. Again, our thanks to Golf Digest. It's where we first saw the story. We both really liked it. They helped us set up this, and again, the round will air on NBC right before the final round coverage of the U.S. Open, and we heard from some folks over there. I think we're going to get some of the other competitors in this thing. Terrific event. Great idea.
Do you think he'll bring a pocket full of money to do some side bets with these guys? He better bring a lot.
Yeah, closest to the pin. Yeah. Play all the junk, sandies, greenies, all that kind of stuff. We'll see how it goes. But, look, an amazing story on a variety of different levels. Mike and Mike in the morning. Coming up next, an anniversary and a tribute right here. Mike and Mike.
ESPN Radio.